Mankato is located at the bend of the Minnesota River, so that is a natural geographic feature of this county. And Blue Earth County was settled originally in 1853. The early settlers to Mankato were in the early 1850s. They used steamboat traffic on the Minnesota River to get to this area. I'm Jessica Potter, the director of the Blue Earth County Historical Society. Prior to white settlement coming to Blue Earth County and to Mankato, the group that was here was primarily the Dakota, the Sioux, were settled in this area, and they were the ones, up until the point of the westward expansion, that was the primary inhabitants of Blue Earth County and this area. So in 1853, Blue Earth County becomes an official county of the state of Minnesota, and Mankato becomes the county seat. So this area, right off the bat, early 1850s, started to see a good influx of people coming here, building homes, using the natural resources of the stone quarries to build houses and to build buildings. And they started living here and building their businesses here. And then, of course, railroad transportation comes into play, and that is a huge boom for this community, and that was also the demise of the steamboat traffic because the railroad could get a lot more places a lot faster. So as the community kept growing, the industry was the biggest thing that kept the community itself moving forward. So by the 1870s, an industry that is close to this organization was R.D. Hubbard's flour mill industry. He opened Hubbard Milling Company in the 1870s. He built that flour mill industry on Front Street, which is now Riverfront Drive. He built that in the late 1870s, and he was one of many captains of industry who were settling here. And then, of course, Mankato and Blue Earth County is known for what happened during 1862, which was the U.S.-Dakota War of 1862. The conflict itself was in western Minnesota, down the Minnesota River. Mankato is where everything, all the trials and everything that resulted in the conflict happened here, but there was actually no battles or no conflict itself that occurred on Blue Earth County soil. But Mankato is known because this location was the largest mass execution in U.S. history. On December 26, 1862, 38 Native Americans, 38 Dakota warriors were hanged in downtown Mankato. Agriculture plays a huge role in the development of Blue Earth County and Mankato itself. And that is seen by the rich agricultural lands that make up Blue Earth County. So you have a lot of that farmland around here that's feeding into those industries. But you also then had the mill, we had a textile mill. We had lots, besides the processing of what is being produced in the fields, you also had to have the machinery and the blacksmiths and those industries to support them as well. I think there's always been a steady growth for Mankato, which is why it has become what it has today.
People who moved to the frontier were always cognizant that if a community is going to grow, part of the reason it's going to grow is if it can acquire public institutions. I'm William E. Lass. I'm Professor Emeritus of History, Minnesota State University, Mankato. So the people that you might regard as Mankato's schemers hit on the idea that if you could acquire a normal school, this is an institution that had the prospect of growth. The normal school, of course, was not a college. It was an institution designed for training teachers for rural schools. The entire normal school phase was in the valley, as was the teachers' college phase. And after World War II, and particularly after the advent of the GI Bill, there was a need to expand the campus physically, and so the suggestion was made of going up the hill. Now, as far as the things that caused the university to expand rapidly, one, of course, would be the immediate post-World War II period. GI Bill is part of the story. A second part of the story is a general enrichment of people in Minnesota and the nation, and changing expectation about education goals. Now, interestingly enough, the enrollment has resurged, so to speak. And part of the reason for that is an expansion of what you might think of as more practical training. A big expansion of the nursing program, for example.
The interesting thing is about the normal school that it's been in place for almost 150 years in different forms, different names, but it's always been here. So you started 150 years ago with one little teacher's college that used the upper floor of a commercial building to now having 4 higher education institutions just in this community alone. I love living in this community because I love the growth of this community. I love to just watch the things that are happening, but also have an understanding of where we've come. And to be able to look back and say, wow, this is the place where Maud Hart Lovelace wrote her books about Betsy and Tacy, and those are real people. And to be able to constantly look back at our past and understand it and explore it and discover it and learn new things every day, but to also be looking ahead and just imagining that these are all moments in time that are going to get recorded in that long history of Mankato and Blue Earth County.